So I just have a couple of questions for Brian Mast, just to test his moral compass. Congressman Mast, as a military veteran, are you familiar with the Uniform Code of Military Justice? Have you read parts of it? Was it ever explained to you during basic training? Did you ever have any conversations with any JAG officers about the requirements of the Uniform Code of Military Justice as it relates to when it is improper to execute an order to kill people? Did you ever study or have brought to your attention the portion of the Uniform Code of Military Justice that says that it is a crime to kill a person who is helpless, and particularly one who is at sea, floating in the wreckage of a ship that has already been basically attacked and demolished? And is it okay to go in and kill that person, or do you have an obligation to try to rescue a person in that situation? Were you ever taught anything about that in any of your military training? So let's get right to the point, Mr. Mast. Do you or do you not believe that Pete Hegseth and the admiral who carried out Pete Hegseth's wishes should be courts-martialed because they executed orders to first of all, to attack a boat which was unarmed and no threat to any American military personnel anywhere in the vicinity, or any American anywhere close to that boat, a boat which was not even headed to the United States, a boat that was carrying cocaine, not fentanyl, and a boat which was not engaged in any hostile conduct, any military activities, any wartime activities. Was it okay to go ahead and issue orders to people to shoot a rocket from a drone and blow up that boat, and then subsequent to that sit around and watch two people, survivors, clinging to wreckage of a boat for 40 minutes, desperately trying to stay alive, and instead of coming to their help, coming to their rescue, regardless of whether you think they were committing a crime or not? And I fail to see how somebody taking cocaine to another country is a crime, is a U.S. crime. But assuming they were, that instead of taking them into custody and grabbing the drugs or whatever it was that they may have been left out of that boat, you saw fit to kill them in cold blood. Do you think that was okay? Do you think that was a criminal act? Do you think it was not a criminal act? Do you think it was a perfectly okay act? What's your views on this? We have not heard a word from you. You know what happened. We all know what happened now. We haven't seen the video. I wish the hell we had, and there's a good reason that Hegseth doesn't want anybody to see that, because it's undoubtedly exactly as it was described, that we're going to sit there and watch two people scrambling, trying desperately to stay alive. And these are human beings. I don't care whether they were trying to bring drugs in someplace or not. They're human beings. You don't sit there as a human being and watch another human being struggling like that and then kill them. And I want to know your views on this subject, because the only people who've defended this have been Republicans. The only ones. And I want to know where you are on this, because right now this is a question of showing moral courage. Have you read John Kennedy's Profiles in Courage? I hope you do. Every politician should be required to read that book. And you will see that people who showed Profiles in Courage were like this Admiral Halsey, who refused the order from this god of war, this Pete Hegseth. He first tried to get this admiral to do the same thing, to issue the orders to blow up boats of people who are not carrying arms, not carrying weapons, not engaged in any activities, and no imminent threat to anybody in America. And that admiral showed great courage, and he should go down in Profiles in Courage, or at least he should be honored by the Kennedy Foundation showing Profiles in Courage, because he showed great courage. He threw away his entire military career. He was a 4-star admiral, threw it away to do the right thing. He said, "I'm not going to commit murder." And Pete Hegseth yelled at him, screamed at him. This guy's a former major. And he's screaming at a 4-star admiral? That in and of itself is enough to make your blood run cold, or in my case, run hot. I grew up in the military. I knew a lot of high-ranking officers. I had tremendous respect for them. No major would ever talk to any general the way this Pete Hegseth saw fit to scream at this poor admiral. And the admiral said, I'm not doing it. And Pete Hegseth said, well, then you better resign or I'm going to fire you. And the guy said, well, I don't want a firing on my record, so I'll resign. So he resigned under pressure. Do you think that was okay, Mr. Mast? Whose example should you follow? The admiral who said, I'm not going to do it? Or the admiral who went ahead and did it because he was trying to please one man, and that was that good-for-nothing, unqualified, shallow, nasty little, I don't even want to use the kind of word, but you know what I mean. That nasty little, calls himself the Secretary of War. There is no such thing. I call him the God of War. He's a little punk. And that little punk was ordering the cold-blooded execution of people in unarmed boats. And the first admiral said, I'm not doing it. He showed great courage. The second admiral said, well, I don't want to displease this guy. I might lose my career. Because I saw what happened to the other admiral, and he went ahead and did it anyway. And I want to know where you stand on this, because this is a matter that's going to tell us a lot about your character. If you have the courage to stand up and say, what Pete Hegseth did was outrageous, it's a violation of the Uniform Code of Military Justice, with which I certainly hope you are familiar. And furthermore, that Pete Hegseth and that admiral should be courts-martialed. That's what you would say if you had any moral courage at all. I haven't heard a word from you to date, and I really don't expect to hear anything from you in the future. But people need to know where you stand, and if you don't stand anywhere and you just duck this issue and start talking about irrelevant subjects, then I hope that the people take the measure of you as a person. You show great physical courage, but when it comes to moral courage, I don't see much of it.